Всем привет, с вами Брендон, и мы играем в игру Stanley Parable. И тут есть такой компьютер. Не знаю, зачем его сделали. О, сет FPS. Так, и тут. Так. Это самая нелинейная игра из тех игр. Вообще, Heavy Rain это вообще фу по сравнению с этим. Начнем играть. Это никогда не конец. Там повторяется то же самое.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of
Как ему не надоело.
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Очень счастлив был. Тыкать на какие-то кнопочки.
Something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never
И что же изменилось?
He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
По коридору, значит, пошел. Почему тут листья разбросаны?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
да, они все исчезли, может, не тут есть. Нету под столами их. Что тут есть? Простой компьютер. Так, зайдем сюда. Это зеркало или что? Это стекло. Пойдемте сюда. Может, открывается? Нет. Так. Идем сюда.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Не-не-не, я хочу в правую дверь, все.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Выкрутился диктор.
By the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime.
Обычная комната.
What was it about this room that
вот это вообще плохо сделано.
So personally to Stanley? Its grace, its subtle charm.
О,
no.
Можно попить.
Stanley knew
нельзя.
It was something deeper. Something darker.
Какая-то фигня.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Не, туда не хочу, я лучше сюда пойду.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Так. Что тут у нас есть? Не прыгать вниз.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Что-то не хочется пробовать.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me.
Все. Что дальше делать?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Да, сюда идти? Ну ладно. Что-то туда не хочется вообще. Не хочу. Ну ладно.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. to read.
Взял трубку.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and...
Почему я ходить не могу?
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something.
Диктор на Стэнли.
Let me show you what's really going on here.
Ну, давай.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's
чё, я похож на Стэнли? Не,
he's going home.
я тогда не буду кнопочки
He's coming
нажимать.
back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen his life.
Не, хочу другую нажать. Нельзя? Плохо. Можешь не нажимать, а? Ну ладно.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown. Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too
дальше.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls, and down another was a yellow line, and down another was a game, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Давайте отвернемся. Идут. Прикольно.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never
Интересно
end,
стоять
that he might always feel
слушать,
free.
как ты болтаешь.
Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be?
Уже слишком
Perhaps
долго.
just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here,
Я
what's
под стол залезть могу?
Stanley,
Нет.
the next time the screen
Кружку
asks
взять?
you to
Нет.
push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every
Обратно
second he
вернулся.
remains here is electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I
Это что? Это типа Стэнли умер? Плохо. Загрузка. Да, все заново.
I can't wait to tell this story to my coworkers, Stanley.
Ну, он
thought.
говорит
How
уже
amusing
по-другому
they'll find it.
совершенно.
Oh, won't we all just laugh and
В тот
laugh
раз
at the
он
time
говорил
I thought
другие
everyone
слова.
had gone missing.
Прикольно. Туда сейчас попробую все делать, что говорит диктор. Идти направо, идти налево, как
When
он
Stanley
скажет.
came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Так.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might find an answer coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Вот кабинет начальника. Не сюда. Значит, сюда. Сюда можно? Нет. А где начальник?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
Вот.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Как оно тут двигается все. Тут очень сильно гудит, там вообще ничего не слышно. А если упасть сюда можно? Нельзя. Сюда идти можно, да? Что-то не хочу туда, пойду. Ну, тык. И куда я еду опять? Опять загрузка, что ли? Заново опять? Не, заново не хочу. О, не заново.
Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Можно наверх? Нет? Ну ладно, ой, тут дымится все.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Система управления. Это. Тык.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ну, да. Хватит. Так, тут что-то тыкалки. Тык.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers.
Это
the
всех
lives
комнат?
of so many
О,
individuals
прикольно.
reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Прикольно. Так, тык.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true.
комната,
been under
верните.
someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was
Чё он тогда
unthinkable.
сидел там,
Wasn't
кнопочки
it?
нажимал?
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the operation. Operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Можно еще
For
подняться тут.
he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Что будет, если спуститься? Ничего? Ну, ладно. Там ничего нельзя тыкать. Нет? Ну, пошли делать сюда тогда. Похоже на
And when at
кинотеатр.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Выключить. И... Где Стэнли?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Надо было включить тогда.
Yes. He had won.
А, ну
He
все,
had
хорошо.
defeated the machine.
Надо выключать.
Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
И...
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other
Надо бы
mysteries did this
узнать.
strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Ну, давай
And that
быстрее,
was all he
побыстрее.
needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth
Вот
knowing.
странно как-то.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
И...
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon
повернись.
his skin.
Черт, я
The
не
feeling
управляю.
of liberation, the immense
И что
possibility
будет
of the
делать?
new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ну, он всегда счастлив. Даже когда тыкал на кнопочки. И еще продолжение будет. Идет заново. Заново. Тогда пойдем по
All
другому
of his
пути
coworkers
совершенно.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Опять
Perhaps he had
говорит он
simply
это.
missed a memo.
Что и в первый раз было.
When Stanley came
Я
to a set
хочу
of two open doors,
сюда вот.
this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
Опять
admire
диктор
it.
выкручивается.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first
Теперь
eager
я
to get back to
хочу
business,
пойти
Stanley took the first
налево.
open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead
Сюда
to the
хочу.
opposite door, and got back on track.
Хотя, может, и не надо было. Эй, я выбраться хочу. Че, заново?
But Stanley didn't want it to happen. And get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go,
Угу. Налево. И куда налево? Чего? Ну ладно. Что за троллинг?
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute? Now let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ну ладно. Так, дальше сюда.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler.
Мы же, помните, мы тут были, мы вот так прошли и там остановили игру. Типа спойлер.
How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off.
Давай, начинай.
Okay, from the top.
Сколько тут время? Тут тоже двигается. Везде оно двигается. Ну ладно, я думаю, на этом все. Подписывайтесь на канал, ставьте лайки, оставляйте комментарии. С вами был Брэндон. Всем пока. Всем пока.